Day one for the 68 GTO. Just came off the flatbed. Looks like a 400 automatic car, black, white interior. I don't know what color that is, but pretty good looking car. Came with a kit of parts in the trunk. We've got exhaust, brakes, starter. It's gonna be a fun one. We'll get it turned around facing the right way in the lift bay and get it up in the air, start taking a look at it. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Black Pontiac Garage, let's go. So my bad for not getting video of this part, but up in the air, I gave this thing a good once over front to back just to see what's going on and, you know, level set with the customer what we're going to do on this one. Nothing scary until I started checking the steering components. They're junk, clunk clunk everywhere. So that's all going to get replaced. So the plan with this car is to get it back on the road and safely running and driving. It's very similar to what I've done with a few projects now. Beetle, Bonneville, you know, a couple in the past couple years, and it's kind of rescuing these stalled projects for one reason or another. In this case, the car has some functional issues and then a few cosmetic issues. Thankfully, not as much rust repair as the Bonneville, but the scope of work is actually pretty similar. Update the fuel system, fuel tank, fuel lines, brake lines, go through the entire drivetrain, re-gasket, and just make it safe and make it a capable driver again. So this is going to be really fun. This car has a lot of nice parts on it. You know, it's definitely lived a life in its 60 years of existence. But it's a pretty good looking machine, and I definitely have a soft spot for black Pontiacs. So that's the first first bolts that wouldn't come out on the project. So the grinder came out, and not a big deal. Here we're taking out the radiator support bolts. They're a captive nut on top, bolt through the frame. Kind of neat on these cars how the frame goes through the radiator support. I haven't seen another one quite like that, I don't think. I got a little greedy on that one. I should have soaked it with penetrating oil. Thankfully, it didn't clock me in the head, but yeah. I'm really a fan of, if you're going to do a lot of underhood work, just pulling the radiator support out in its entirety. And this car didn't have the front clip on it, which even made it a little easier, but all of the setup and everything up to getting it, you know, fired and running, I'll be able to do just walking up to the motor. I really like that, and a lot of things I like taking the hood off as well. Don't think I'm going to do that on this car. I think it's fine the way it is, but having good access is just makes working on things so much easier. Just way better. Highly recommended. So we're only a couple hours into this project, you know, in its entirety. Like I mentioned, we're gonna, you know, pull the motor out, clean it, re-gasket it, and just give everything a thorough inspection. So for the amount of time it takes to pull the motor out, I think, you know, at the end of this day, we're only a couple hours into it. Got it out on a stand, and we're going to do a kind of a basic health assessment on the motor, compression check, leak down, pull the valve covers, pull the pan. It has been sitting for a few years, but it's all been covered, so I don't expect anything, but we'll do the due diligence and make sure that it's ready to start. So we're splitting the Turbo 400 off the back, 3 torque converter bolts, and then definitely a lot easier than the Bonneville. Just the bell housing shape and the access to the torque converter bolts got a lot better from the Hydromatic to the TH 400, so that's kind of cool. It's neat to see the differences just in 4 years of development at Pontiac, how many things changed and how many things didn't change. So I'll bring you in for a little closer look, just take a peek at the frame rails. A lot of this stuff has been worked on over time. A lot of the suspension components have been rebushed, but then, like I mentioned, the steering components are a little rough. So this is the radiator support and core support. There's 2 layers here, and give you a widescreen here. So this L piece rolls over the side. But anyway, around the rubber mount, sandwich rubber mount, that rusted out both layers. So I think I can dissect the top off, probably weld a patch in this layer, and then I want to see if this piece is reproduced. This side, it's better, but not by much. The rubber just trapped stuff. The rest of it is honestly in really good shape. These are the 2 bolts that I had to grind off. Not unexpected. Everything under the battery tray always seems like it kind of weathers worse than everything else. Everything on that side, passenger side, came off fine. This is right under the battery tray. These were noticeably worse. So probably spot blast the whole bottom. Let's see if we can cut. Looks like I can see a few spot welds. So getting this piece out may not be that bad. All right, let's go. So my new 3D scanner came in today, a ReverPoint Pop 4, which is pretty cool. They had just had a Kickstarter that's wrapping up now. And it's a blue line scanner, handheld. Pretty sweet from what I could tell. This was with box settings. Did a real quick scan of the core support around the rusted area, just trying to get some of the detail captured. Cleaned up the scan just a little bit and then dropped it into SolidWorks. And that's what you're seeing here is with just a little bit of work, I was able to lay out the main piece. I'll probably have to make a die to do this larger radius bend, but I think this will be a pretty neat way to make the piece, and hopefully everything mirror images. I'll 3D print one of these to verify the shape, but it should be a nice fix. I'll still have to fix the hole in the first layer, but yeah, pretty cool stuff. The BOP Turbo 400 on the stand. Everything looks good. Got it in neutral right now. It's free spinning, other than being a little grimy. So I did a little decoding on the block and the cylinder heads and looked through the casting numbers. This is the casting number shown on the screen, and it's a 71 to 74 455, which matches what the customer told me it was. And then it's a pretty interesting build. It looks like the heads are from a 67. They're closed chamber head. So this was supposedly a pretty, snotty motor that was put together, and I tend to believe it. Edelbrock intake, cams unknown, pistons are unknown. If it has any kind of flat top or dome piston, it's likely between 10.5 and 11 to 1 compression. So I bet this is a good running motor. We're gonna find out hopefully pretty soon. Definitely got some cleaning to do and some regasketing, but I'm excited to tear into this one a little bit. I'm curious to see what the compression test and leak down test show. I don't know. Big cam will bleed the numbers, but then high compression will raise the numbers. So it'll be interesting just to see what the results are. Thanks for coming along with me on this one. It was fun to get really started tearing this car apart, seeing what I'm working with. Thankfully, there's not as much rust repair, so that's really cool. And I'm excited to get into some of the detail work and start. Um, it's always fun to cross the point of a project where you're disassembling and transition to reassembling. So this is going to be a really fun one. I can't wait to get this car back on the road. The owner's excited. I'm excited. Bring you guys back when we're ready to show some more cool stuff. Until then, thanks for watching.